conversation. Tonight we are some youths from World Changers Assembly. We are talking relationships tonight. So we trust that as you tune in, feel free to share your ideas, thoughts in the comments. If you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. I'm joined this evening by my sister Charlene. This is Kendall, and this is Joshua. So we're here tonight, and we're just going to get the conversation started. Like I always say, we are not experts. We are simply here to share with you from our experiences, and of course the Word of God. And trust that in some way you will be enlightened by what we have to say and cause you to think a little bit. Yes? So feel free to join in the conversation. Tonight, like I said, we're going to talk about relationships. But even before we get into relationships, we want to try and somehow, you see, everyone is always thinking about, I'm going to be in a relationship, I want a relationship, but no one is thinking as a single person. No one is, even before you get into a relationship, there is this individual that you have to deal with. So before we get into actually being into a relationship, we want to just share for a moment. But even before we share, I just want us to say a word of prayer tonight. So wherever you are, would you just close your eyes with us? Thank you, Father. Father, we give you praise, we give you thanks. We thank you for who you are. Thank you that you are God and God alone. Thank you, God, that there is a way, oh God, that seems right to a man, but your word says the end is destruction. So we look up to you, Father, the author and the finisher. You are our source, you are our hope. Father, tonight we thank you, oh God, that you are with us and you would guide, you would protect. Father, even the thoughts that we think tonight, oh God, you cause it to come out even now, God, and to be received with grace. We thank you, oh God. Thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. So to begin our discussion tonight, we're going to have Charlene, who is going to kick off our discussion on singleness, and as we join in, we ask that you just feel free to comment and, hang out with us tonight.
Okay, so good night everyone. I'm glad she said we'll be talking to you based on our experiences and not PhDs and bachelor's degrees, but we went through life and we experienced some things and we just came to testify. I hope that what I say tonight, the tone of it, you could hear the power of Christ to keep somebody. So I'm going to start by just giving you a little. So I have been single for a while now, as in relationally. I've been single for over a decade. I have not died, and God forbid I should die tomorrow. The autopsy would not read death by singleness or death by virginity. Nobody ever died because they were a virgin. Nobody ever died because they were single. But we know many people who have died because they played fast. But we thank God for all our seasons. So yeah, I've been single for over a decade, about 11 years. The last relationship I had was age 16. I'm now 27, so that's exactly 11 years thereof. I know what it's like to like people and have them never like you back. Oh man, it's been a journey of that, and I can't say that I have the experience of knowing what it's like to feel lonely and hardship of singleness. So I'm not here to bring that perspective. Yes, there were some trying times. There were some times I lost battles, and there were some times I won. But I have learned about singleness is that it is best endured with friends and God. Some of the things that I've learned about singleness, I've learned that singleness is not a curse. Singleness is not a disease of which I need to be cured. something is not wrong with me because I'm single, or if you are looking at us right now and you're single, something's not wrong with you because you are single. I learned also that singleness could be a relational status, could be described as a relational status. It could be a choice, it could be a season or a teacher, if you let it teach you. And it could also be a state of mind. I say a state of mind because a lot of times people are relationally single or have the status of singleness, but they have a divided heart, a divided mind, or they're broken, or they're not whole. And I know a lot about brokenness. My journey, the things I passed through caused me to have a lot of wounds in my soul. The things I gave myself to, the things I was introduced to, caused me to be broken in certain areas. And sometimes you would think because you are broken, you are disqualified from a relationship, or you're disqualified from getting married, whatever it is. But let me just tell you about some phases that I passed through. I could relate to people who are broken because I have been, and we all know what it's like to be broken in some area of our life. And I'm feeling the tears already behind my eyes. I told them before, this could either go two ways. I could either be full on tears or full on rolling on the floor in laughter. It looks like the latter, like the first one. I was introduced to pornography at an early age, from probably age of 10, thereabouts, in Form 1. That messed up my mind, but even before Form 1, I was already going in abandoned houses with boys, back of buses, and doing different things, giving myself to fellas to do what they wanted to do at that point in time. Thank God, I can still say I'm a virgin, bless the Lord for that. But I know what it is to feel used and rejected. I know what it is to have a mind that is messed up because of pornography. I know what it is to feel confused about your sexual orientation. You're not sure if you're supposed to be male or female. You're not sure if you're supposed to like male or female. I've passed through those phases. So there's a lot of brokenness in the past, but I also know what it is to realize that pleasures and people cannot fill voids. I passed through those seasons of realization or awareness, I would call them. I also passed through seasons of becoming very frigid, very cold, closed up to any person. People would think that we are close, but I can't say it's in the realm of the spirit, but how actually we would be, I would have my arms out. People would think that they're so close to me, but I would be so closed up, so wounded that I blocked people from getting close to me. So I passed through that season. Then I went through another season of finally opening up, and then, okay, here comes the tears. Why? I'm finally opening up and thinking that somebody was interested in you. You're talking, going down the road, woohoo, things looking peachy. And then a few months later, you realize the person engaged and married somebody else. Okay, then. But I also know what it is to come out of that and to be in a place of realizing that, or being thankful for the seasons that you passed through and the people that you encountered along the way, knowing that there were lessons that you learned from those seasons and those people. God works everything out for good. So whatever is your past, however tainted it would be or it looks like, God can still use you. You are still valuable. You're not, He's not finished with you. So I'm in a season now where I know what it's like to have desire for marriage, but understand contentment. And I am in a place where I will choose what is right. And if I'm not getting to do what is right, God's way, if I'm not doing what He wants, if the way that I handle relationships is not pleasing to Him, then I would prefer, I have settled in my mind that I would prefer not have a relationship at all and remain in my singleness because I have learned contentment and finding wholeness in Christ. So that is just my experience throughout the years, and still being single, still being saved, still being, what am I today, whatever I am today. So God is good. Amen.
Yeah, but you know, as you were talking, I keep thinking, you know, what about some people who are in, well, you guys can feel free to pitch in, but she talked about a lot of things, right? But being content in knowing, okay, how do we get to that point where I'm single, but what if marriage never comes up, or what if, and for those of you who are in life, what if marriage never comes up, or, you know, like she said, you're going through disappointment. And for those of us here who have been in relationships, we know what disappointments feel like, and we know what it's like to go through these periods in that single period, yeah? How do we move from that point to this point where now I can say, listen, if I get married, I get married. If I don't, well, tell me what you're feeling.
For me, I had to understand the purpose of God in my life, and we'll talk about this later, but not comparing where you are with other people. That helps a whole lot. When you're seeing other people doing this, okay, let's say you come looking at all the 27s or your past classmates, and you're saying, okay, this person had 2 children, she had 4, she just got married, she engaged, she have a boyfriend, and posting Instagram pictures, they reel on or whatever. And you're constantly looking at that, so you must start to feel like, okay, something wrong with you, because it seems, and the enemy would put in your mind that something is wrong with you, and you are the only person that is not. When that is a lie. You are not the only person not getting married or in a relationship, and there is more to life than being in a relationship with someone. There are some people who don't want us to talk about the joy of singleness for some reason.
Right.
But there is a joy in every season of life, and singleness happens to be a season that some people are in or passing through. So I have to speak to people and tell them, right where you are today, there is joy today, because you can run to the maker, the person that made you, the person who defines you.
Right.
You can run to them for your definitions of what success looks like in your life. You don't have to compare yourself with Steve, Harry, Alicia, and Felicia. You don't have to... Sorry.
No, but it's true.
You don't have to compare yourself with them. God has a specific assignment for you. There are things to do, and we'll talk about that after. Things to discover in singleness that I hope we are all on our way to discovering in this season of singleness. But for me...
One thing I wanted to share in there real quick. You know, sometimes we see people, as you see on Instagram and all these different things, they're looking so happy and they look good together and they look like they have it all together, but when they really get to find out, they're in a hot mess.
Sure.
Most of them want to run, but they're putting out this public display to make it look like they're living real good now. And when they really get to find out about them, they wish that they were single, they want to run. So in that, yeah, we have, well, people who are single right now have to be very cautious with that. That you're seeing people in a relationship and they're looking real good. They have all kind of different things going for them, and it seems nice. But when they get to find out, and they find out their scenarios and how things work in the relationship, they might as well be single and be way happier than just putting out a public viewing, a public show thing, and making people feel that, hey, I'm happy and everything good in my relationship. But in reality, you want to get out.
But that's the thing about social media. I think a lot of times our perspective of, you know, what should be going on with us, we tend to, as young people, we tend to be persuaded by what is going on the outside, and you know, peer pressure, that kind of, you know, yeah, to have to do this, or have to be this, or have to, and like Kendall said, a lot of times these show is just a front because people have serious issues going on, and until you get to talk to them, and for me, I know like firsthand, like people would come and talk to you about it, and I was like, oh really, I never, because in looking, we think that this is what it is, but many times, people are struggling, but just to keep up with appearances, you tend to want to, you want to be that way, or you want to look as though you have it.
Because I think many times you look at society and you want them to define your relationship.
Right.
You look at them and you say, we have to do this to be a good relationship. We have to go here. We have to do, and it puts a lot of pressure on the relationship.
Yeah.
So I think if we do this, we're not good enough.
Right.
And that could create a lot of problems in the relationship.
And in that too, what has happened there, when it comes down to person's personality. So like if the man don't like doing certain things, but social media and peer pressure say that all couples have to do this, or you have to do this to look good or to whatever.
Or to look like you have it together.
The girl now, sorry, not the girl, sorry.
Oh man.
The woman.
The female in the relationship pressuring the guy.
Yeah.
We have to do this and you know, for whatever, just to be apart.
Yeah, for the gram. Do it for the gram.
And that time my brother just like, yo, that is not me, you know.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say, you see people in a relationship and they're looking good, but things are so nice inside.
But before we move on, just from the male's perspective, right? Because she was talking about that pressure and all of that. From a male's perspective, because like she was talking about her friends, you see them doing this, you see them doing that. How is it like for the males then? Do they think the same way, or do they feel that same pressure to have to be in a relationship, or I don't know, whichever one of you.
Well, in terms of my experience, you think that relationship is part of coming to become a man. You know, at a certain age, you want to have certain things in your life as a man. And you have to think that if I had to get the girlfriend now, so that could court, so that could come into the relationship. And if I don't have the girlfriend now, maybe I wouldn't be good enough for later down the years. Like I wouldn't be prepared, you know. It does worry you, you know. You just think I need to get this in order. When it's not something you should worry about, because everything is have a time and all this on. But you just worry like, what if I don't have a relationship, a girlfriend by 22, and I can't be married by 25, and I can't have a house by 26.
Okay.
You know, it just goes through your mind.
Yeah.
But I think that is, I don't know if perspective is it too, but because I have partners single and they're very much happy, comfortable being single. But I think single, is it stems out of your past. So like for me, I know it is to grow up seeing mommy and daddy, husband, wife,
Right.
and you know you have a process to get there. And even though persons would have seen that in the past, some people just choose singleness, was called under singleness. So you have, just as women and have men, comfortable with being single. And I have brothers like me. I sure I was even with them. I wanted a wife and yeah. So back to you, Shani.
Let's say the image has to be redefined, or the definition of success has to be redefined for each person. And God has that definition of success for each person, the picture of what success looks like in each person's life. And we need to go back to the manufacturer to see or to understand our picture of success. You know, when a puzzle comes, it comes with a lot of pieces, and if the manufacturer didn't put a picture in it, you would not know what to do with it. You would see all the paintings around and say, maybe it's supposed to be like that, and you'd start putting pieces together and get lost. You'd never finish. You'd always find some kind of hole or void, because you don't have the picture from the manufacturer, the picture that came with the box. So we need to get the picture for the puzzle of our lives from the manufacturer. Yeah.
I think that singleness and that period of life should be a point where I'm getting to know who I am as a person, and what, like you talk about the manufacturer, what purpose was I created for? What am I doing here? It doesn't necessarily have to be a stage ministry, something that everyone sees and knows about. But every one of us, we were created for a purpose. And in order for us to, we shouldn't wait until we enter a relationship now to try and figure out who I am. So I'm thinking that, as she was saying, talking about the manufacturer, we have to understand the creation and why we were created. And I think before we go into a relationship, that is something that I must know. I must understand what my purpose is. So, that is just something I put it out there that I know who you are, but it's something that you should consider. Because when I enter into a relationship, I'm going to connect with somebody and all this stuff, right? But I don't know who I am. So I'm putting this confused person now added to somebody else, and this person is also going to bring who they are and whatever, and if, then I will be lost and confused. So we want to go into, the relationship. And yeah, but I want to know who I am. So, so now we want to talk a little bit about being in the relationship. Now we have, and like I said, we can't talk about everything tonight.
We can't exhaust all, because even in singleness isn't a boring thing. You have so much things to do.
Yeah.
So much things you could do in singleness. So, as you say, is a topic that it will take weeks to elaborate on.
Yeah, but it's just about us. Tonight we just want to get you thinking. What being in a relationship is about. This whole, just kind of get you thinking about this entire process. So Joshua is going to talk a little bit about being in the relationship. Now he's going to get that part of the conversation started. He's going to share from his experience. I'll leave him to do that.
Good night, everybody. My name is Joshua Abadi. I'll be speaking for a short while on just courting state of a relationship. Courting, which is the part between meeting the person you want to be with and marriage. And looking at how people perceive courting outside of the world, outside in the world, and people perceive it who are in church and led by Christ. And when I look at courting, from my experience, courting is a very, if not the most important stage of a relationship, where you find this person and you want to marry them, but you need to know if you want to marry them. And so that's why people go into court and they say, we just dating, I just with this girl. That's not courting. Courting is this person, I want to marry you. And we focus is marriage at the end of the day, right? That's the goal. The goal is marriage. And in that stage, you figure out the person. Things you would figure out about this person is things you could deal with this person, things the person could deal with you. How the two of us could interact, and these kind of things. And the thing is, you will never know everything about the person. Don't ever get me wrong, you will never know everything about this person, what you could deal with, what you can't deal with. But in the courting stage, you will know if you could deal with anything that this person brings. You will have an idea. And you wouldn't know all that coming up, but all what coming up, the two of them will be able to work it out. That's why you have to figure out in the courting stage. Right? So you figure out the importance. Some of the benefits are courting. The benefits are courting, knowing, building a friendship. You're in a relationship with them, but it's a friendship. You're building a friendship with this person. You're meeting the person, you're in a relationship, but you're developing the two of them together, all the alignment, all the conversing, figuring out future things what they could compromise on, things what you need to compromise on. And a simple example of that is, me myself being in a relationship, I had things, I needed to change about myself. Things I grew up with that she person, the other person grew up with that we wasn't always in syncing. But you need to talk about it with she to talk about it with you, and come to a mutual understanding to all it together. We're moving forward, but this is what we're doing. Example will be like, I had a problem, I see, like I had a problem with people eating in my ears and thing, you know? Like my father, my mother does do it, everybody, and I had a serious problem with that. And they always say, when you're going to marriage, there's going to be a problem, there's going to be a problem. I said, nah, go find a girl who don't do that. Come to find out, the girl does do that. You know what? And so, we talk about it, and it's a me problem. Everybody does do it,
Yeah.
right? And so what I do now when I eat it, I watch a video, so I wouldn't let it hear. But we come to that together, and we sort out that, and we work through that, because that could be a big problem for me.
Yeah.
But we work it out. So these are the things, beautiful things they can discover in courting relationships.
Yeah.
In every aspect I do, you're thinking about the physical aspect, the spiritual, the social aspect. You know, in terms of that, you're developing like, you're a man in the courting, you're studying a house, you're studying a job, you're studying children in the future, how you're going to provide as the man. The man, you have to study these things, you know. And you have to start to put these things in place in the courting stage. It's not just about the relationship, it's the courting stage. You're studying how to get work, because I have to build a house. That's what I was talking earlier. Them things have to come into line now. You're not saying you're rushing it, because there's time for everything under the sun. Understand that. But these are the things you would think about marriage. The other thing you would think about is like, you know, the demographic boundaries, like places where you know you and this person not going to meet on, like in terms of certain things we can't agree on, as I was speaking earlier, and we sort out that. That's like demographic boundaries. You think about the spiritual aspect, like together, how we all meet on each other level, very important, so important, the spiritual aspect. You know, as you're talking about it from the Christian perspective, the spiritual aspect, you and the person, you're going on the road, all the talking, but while all the talking, all the understanding, hey, we two young people pursuing our relationship under God, and we need to stay under God, keeping the boundaries, as you'll talk on later down about the standards and things, but with under God, both understanding, we need time for prayer, we need time for each other. And the last point I want to raise is, in the courting stage, you must never lose yourself. People go into a relationship and they lose themselves sometimes. You know, they think that, hey, when I'm in this relationship, I'm doing everything to please this person, but what about yourself? Always remember yourself in the courting stage. So you must, in order to remember yourself, you must have a self, right? So when you go into a relationship, that's the point. That's the point. Yeah.
Remember yourself,
Nice. So when you go into the relationship, know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, and the person can love you for that. I ain't saying you ain't changing, but if the person can love you for who you are, then it makes no sense, because when you marry, you'll be unhappy.
And here what is going with that too. Eh? You see, when you're not being yourself, sooner or later it will come out. And it will have you very uncomfortable. And there's all kind of things that happen inside it. So as you say, it's very, very important in the early stage of courting to be yourself. Don't try, you know, as a casual person, don't try to play no high man and all kind of thing. Because you wouldn't be able to maintain it, because that is not who you are. And also, when the real you come out, you'll be like,
Who is this person?
so you're playing for games, or you understand? So yeah. So that's a very important part, being yourself.
I also agree, because what I'm saying is that I want to take it from this angle that sometimes when we not true to self, the thing is we tend to get blinded by what is going on. So a lot of times we see people they're so into this person that, you know, they're just seeing this person, they're just seeing, and they lose. What I'm saying, sometimes your values, you lose that, your personal standards to know red flags coming up in the relationship, but because you not seeing, or not what's the word I'm looking for? You're not bringing yourself in, because you cannot undermine who you are in the relationship. Yeah, everything you're compromising now, and okay, so now you find that's where sometimes people, you said to yourself, this is where I would go, but now you find like, oh, I want to go here because this person influencing you there, or you find that this person is disrespecting you, and you're accepting things like this because you fail to be true to yourself and what your parents grew up with, this set of values, and all of a sudden values going out the door, and oh no, but this person, you just lose yourself. Yeah. Also, what Kendall was talking about,
Hubby.
you know, like, you know, you only have $2, but you want to carry the girl out on $50 dates.
Amen, sister.
If you know you can only handle doubles, go with doubles.
Amen.
You want to go teach.
You have a $50 stage, but not
You
Yeah,
understand?
it's not-
So, but the thing is also with that now, when you end up in a marriage, it's like you exhaust all your options.
yeah.
Now she asking you to carry her out on a date.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. You set a certain standard, but you know within yourself you can
Can't maintain that standard.
So you raise the standard so high.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And when
She
she really gets to know you, she realizes,
Yeah.
oh, wait, no. He's a fraud, man. So
you start to buying this girl all these kind of nice gifts and doing this thing, random gift, you know,
Yeah.
boom, Louis Vuitton. She's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, so now her expectations,
Yeah, it's very high.
of you different now. Yeah.
And here what is going with that too, yeah? I will just touch on something real quick.
Yeah.
Not bypassing your point. But you see when you start being yourself and the person get to love you as you,
Yeah.
when you all grow together, that is so beautiful
Yeah.
when the marriage comes.
True.
Oh, let's see that in there. You go ahead, partner. We're going to talk about marriage.
Yeah, that's the basis of courting, you know. Those are the things they look at on the, and one thing that while they was talking is, you know, you see, when you go into a relationship, it's not you and the person alone. It's two different families coming in together.
Yeah.
So you, your family, and her family.
Don't talk about family.
Like, whoa, like, bro.
Right?
You're touching some real serious things.
Right? So you have to look at that aspect, you know, and you meeting her family and how her family interacts with you and her family with you and your family with, and that's an also important thing you need to foster in the courting relationship because it's two families coming together. And that's also a point you need to remember in the courting stage. That's that meaning.
Yeah, but you know, we talk about standards, so we also want to go into that as well. You know, like what standards, like we talk about human being true to yourself and all of these things. We want to get in and talk a little bit about standards that we set in this courting, getting to know you before marriage, that kind of phase.
Right. So in terms of standards, we're talking now. I saw it from two different perspectives. We have biblical standards and personal standards, which you must set before and in a relationship. First, the biblical standards, first off the bat, you know, sexual and sexual immorality, these kind of things.
Maintaining purity.
Maintaining purity. You must always maintain purity. The Bible does not clearly define, you go say, you mustn't hold hands, you mustn't touch them, kind of thing. But from the moment you and the person conversing, talking, you and the person should know, hey, if I do this, my mind is straight. If I do this, so we will not engage in this. We will not engage in this place. You know, don't ever go in a place by yourself if all you know you can handle it. Don't ever go in a car and take it all you can. You know, these type of things, these kind of standards set from the start. Always set these standards. Other things like make accountability, make sure that you all on the job in that point in there in terms of having people and both ourselves accountable to each other in terms of I need to pick up on you when you drop, you need to pick up on me when I drop, you know, and you need to remember these things for even for spiritual and as I say other things like argumental standards in terms of how we deal with arguments. Right? If you know when an argument come up, you like to walk away or you like to lock off everybody. And we set that standard, we're not going to do this. It won't work out first time, don't get me wrong, we're not going to just be perfect. But know that we don't loud up each other, we don't curse each other, we don't get on with each other. That's a standard you need to set, and when two of them grow into that standard, it's from to carry from courting into the relationship.
And I'm going to say, because this person you practice, strategy that you practice, and you take that
To the marriage.
into marriage, and now as a single, while you're still single, before you say I do, you have to understand, listen, am I able to keep up
Correct.
with this? Could I continue doing this? Because no, this is that time when, like I said, we focusing, yes, you're in a relationship, but you have to maintain yourself. So if it is, you know, in this relationship, I can't keep up with being this, or I can't, you know, this, being in this relationship is requiring me to do this. If you know you're not able to do that, this is the time where you're going to say, listen, I don't think I can keep up with this, so that us, you know?
And here what is very critical inside there, in that setting standards, You see, when you're not yourself and you set a standard that is not you,
Yeah.
that's a going on move.
No.
And tell me if I'm wrong, ladies. I think that setting of a standard, I don't want to say it's solely the man thing to do, because I don't want to sound like the man should manipulate the woman or set all the standards and make it rigid that the woman just have to follow what he do. But I think in the lead of, you're preparing to be the high priest of this relationship. It has certain standards that the man have to ensure and lead on up front.
And the woman just look for that as well.
Yeah, because the woman
Look for the man to set the standards.
Control.
exactly. So don't get me wrong when I say the man have to set the standards. It's just that we have to take certain responsibilities, and it wouldn't get right. You could ask Carlene, plenty things I still get wrong.
But I think that, but it should be, in this courting setting, I think that they probably should do it together, like Joshua was saying, because I don't know if it's whichever, but the thing is, if I know to myself that I'm not able to do this, then, or these are my shortcomings, then when setting the standards, I could say, listen, you know what, my attitude does affect so and so, so I think you give your contribution so that if it does happen that it doesn't work out or it's not working, then we could say, then I would know, well, okay, this is because I contributed to this, right? So I say, well, okay, this isn't working for me, that's okay. But if both of us contribute to setting those boundaries and standards, then I know that I am able to do something like that. Oh, this is so much of a challenge for me, or no, it's unreachable. But if we set it together, I believe that it would work better for everyone.
And the important thing in setting standards, you need to ask the person the standards that they have expected of you. Right? Because at times they will think that they wouldn't understand the standards you have in your mind. So you need to have that conversation. And I also think that if you don't have somebody who is Christian and have biblical foundation, then the standards that they set would be different from yours. Right? Which is it falls in line with the whole unequally yoked thing. So once you all are both on the same platform, then certain standards would come from the Bible, and it should come together as one. Because even from the argument stage, the Bible starts with how to argue, how to deal with this with conflict and these other things. So these are things you and the person come together and you all talk about these things. It's very important in a relationship.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but very good.
But also, sometimes because I'll probably talk about it from my perspective. Before the discussion we were talking about sometimes how we overset standards, and sometimes you have this, Joshua was talking about expectations.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like for me, right, I had this long list that, when I find this guy, he would be this, and he would be that, and he should have this, and he should be. And sometimes, if it is really not careful, it could keep us in that single, because you're pushing away people, one. Sometimes it's just unrealistic. It's like you living in Trinidad, but you're only looking for this.
You are man for me.
Right? But we have to bear these things in mind.
Yeah. And tell me if I'm wrong, but I think there's women who just overset them standards.
You know, sometimes when some men,
Yes,
so?
but
But
most
you have
of
some women,
they're looking for the best.
yeah, they want the man to talk 5 language, he had to have a car, truck, he had
big
to
house.
he had to be 7 feet tall,
Oh,
he had to have green eye, he had to have all the teeth in the mouth,
Ironic thing with it about with God and this whole thing. You just get the shortest man with nothing, and you will fall in love with him, and two will build together.
That's why we
Yeah.
prepare ourselves to be single.
But that's exactly what went on with me, because I am saying, okay, I must have a guy that I will look up to him. But the thing is, I'm already 6 feet tall, so that's it's not as easy as or maybe you have to sift them out or some kind of thing. But the thing is, I had a list.
At least.
I had a list, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out that way, right? And the thing is about that, what I'm saying is sometimes we just have what we want, but God does know what we need. You understand? I always talk about that when I'm relating to Canada. It's like, listen to me. I have a list of what I wanted, but God knows exactly what. No, I'm not saying that. Anyway.
Be honest, I have eaten nothing on your list.
No, listen to me. Behave yourself, get
But it's alright, you know, I get it.
It's all good. She's still married.
Yeah, so we have to just consider these things when going through that phase. And like I said, you know, sometimes we have to just be aware because you don't want, in that courting phase, when things come up, that we lose ourselves, yeah? And so we want to transition to the marriage phase, you know, so you've encountered who you are as a person, you understand who God created you to be. I am an individual and God had me on this earth to do this, and such is the case. You've understood that, you've entered into a relationship, and now you're understanding this person, you're going along the road, and you know, with all that we talked about, and so now you've set this time where you're going to get married. Okay, you're married now. What? Yeah, okay.
Let's see. Well, to be very honest, I could safely say, well, I would say this God video, whatever it is, one of the best things that ever happened to me, marriage. And I went through the years and the phases, and one thing that worked very well for me that I noticed, no, it was tough to do because we court for 8 years, 7 years and something. That wasn't easy. That wasn't easy. But it's very much profitable now because plenty issues and things were ironed out in that time. So now, when last we had arguments? Long time. Because during that time, plenty things was ironed out now. No, we don't have the perfect marriage, but plenty things that's supposed to pop up, and we deal with it. And during the years, I waited 7 years because I made the decision to do so on advice from my parents and her parents as well, because she had some schooling and some other personal things that she had to take care of. And I didn't want to be selfish because I already had a job, I already had a place that we could have called home, and things was good on my side. I actually know my bosun, but I didn't have never seen early now. And when I look at it, because I truly loved and still love her, and I say, boy, instead of I rushing this marriage thing, let me allow her to do what Carleen have to do. So she had some schooling to take care of and some other personal things that she wanted to achieve. So I waited for that. But as I finished my marriage, I waited. As she take care of things, come, let me go. And it's one of the best decisions I ever make because it's something that I look forward to since a little fella growing up. I know I wanted to get married. And stuff like that. So during the years, it wasn't easy. I had plenty of things to take care of, just as you said, things to do during courting. We have a lot of memories that we created during courting and stuff like that. And since we got married, some of the activities and things we used to enjoy before, it kind of break down because we accepted greater responsibilities now because we have other things to do with money. And so now we have to sit down and say, can you remember when we went outside? Because now it's about understanding needs and wants.
Right.
And yes, I would like to take out to these nice places and go to all these concerts and all these things, but we just can't do it.
Right.
Because we have other responsibility. And we have a son in the picture now, which is totally amazing as well. And those are some of the phases, and now that I'm there, it's something new to me because I have to learn how to budget and treat with my emotions and treat with a new brand wife and all these different things. But it's amazing. I would advise anybody, if that is your desire and you find the person, don't be afraid of responsibility. The Lord does provide. Once you set up your things properly and you roll them with God's standards, trust me, it will work out. Some of the testimonies that my parents would have given me, her parents as well, some of my mentors, some of my older partners, the things they went through with their wives in the early years, and I want to look at them now, how successful they are. We at a way greater advantage. We living in luxury compared to some of the things that some of my older partners and mentors would have gone through. And they went through it and they in there. They are alive still. And they enjoy the bliss of marriage. And I enjoy it too. So I just want to say to guys, girls, young people, marriage is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Don't study the fellas who will tell you, boy, when she married, she will divorce you after 3 years and take half of everything. That fellas just said, when I said, boy, you gonna get married, she gonna divorce you and take the house. And that car, you gonna take the car and all that. And put those things aside. Don't be afraid of responsibility. Don't be afraid to open up and share yourself and share your space with that person that you love. There are plenty of things that you have to consider. Yes, you have to be responsible. But also, I want to say get into it carelessly, but it's a beautiful, 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 beautiful thing. You know, as I just tell everybody, we don't have the perfect marriage, but I have the perfect wife. And look at how beautiful she is. She's lovely, and I love her with all my heart. Papa, awesome. That's all good. Right? So, marriage is a lovely thing. It will have ups and downs and stuff like that. But don't run from it, because growing old with someone is a blissful thing, getting to know them. And now, if I go to shop, I have to carry Carly with me, because she understands me so well to let me know, hey, you like that jersey now, but when you reach home, yeah, we're not going to again, because you wouldn't like it. She has to choose things for me that she know would fit me, shoes, size, and all kind of different things. We getting to know each other that well. So, everybody's circumstance different, but marriage is a lovely thing, and I love it. I enjoy every day of it. And now that our son is in the picture, ooh, trust me, life nice. Life nice.
No, but marriage is a beautiful thing, and for me, before getting into marriage, I had said I don't want to be in another relationship. And I don't know, God just have a way of doing things. At the time when I said that, I started to read all these books, look at all these videos and all these things. And I don't want to say a desire came, but I didn't even realize when the shift happened. But I think it's just a place where my heart was, that I'm not looking to find somebody. If they come, they just, and that's the thing, a person should add to your life, they shouldn't take away, yeah? So, for me, at that time, so I guess God was probably working on me at that time, or now I could say that God was working on me at that time, so that when marriage came up, then I could be ready for whatever God was doing, right? I had my list, so God had to do a work in my heart so that when this gentleman does come along, then I wouldn't be like, and so I think so that is what was going on with me at the time. And then getting into marriage, you have to continually, is something for me. I think at least this is what I personally do. Constantly learning. Like these days with my own challenge, right? With my, for me, that's the thing. I'm not the type of person, and going into marriage, you should be thinking long term. You can't be thinking here and now. You have to be thinking long term. This is something that you're in for the rest of your life. So if it is, that you can't deal with people for long, ask God to work on your heart if it is marriages, an option for you. But yeah, always have to be learning and relearning, and like with different phases, you know, now, okay, first was just me and him, now we have a son. So constantly just learning and relearning and going over who I am as a person in this season, you know, and that's the thing. I think that sometimes we just go in because, you know, everybody get married, and or you just want some fancy wedding. And it's not about that, because the wedding day will come and go, and then at the end of the day, this person, you have to live with them, and you have to learn how to, you know, do that. Who are you as a person now? At the end of this, you know, we dance and everything is over. The person that you're going to be with, this is for the rest of your life. You have to get that in your head. So you have to now work, constantly be working on yourself. And like I said, you know, marriage is beautiful, but the thing is, relationships take work. So if we're not putting in the work, if we're not, you know, doing, if we're not constantly, you know, what is going on in my mind at this time? How am I as an individual? Is my attitude still in check? Because sometimes we go through the whole process, we're single, we end up, you know, we in a relationship now, and the thing is, we get comfortable. And when we get comfortable now, standards start to drop. All these good things we talk about, it starts to dwindle away, because now that you get married, you get comfortable. And the thing is, in this time as young people, when we're preparing for, you know, preparing for marriage, we want to, in our minds now, get that in our heads. This is something that's long term, so I have to put in the work that will be sustained over time, and then remind myself that I have to constantly be working on it, because it takes. So yeah, so much that we about marriage and relationships and all of this, but we have to, like I said, this is just about getting the conversation started. And for those of you who may be on the live, it's just about, you know, this is just 1 hour. But the thing is, the conversation could go on and on. But I want to, you know, in wrapping up this marriage segment, that's if you don't have anything else to add. I just want to say that, you know, the goal might be marriage, but you as a person, you have to constantly, like I said, constantly be improving on you as a person, even though it's, you know, it's a relationship with 2 persons. Yeah, but you have to work on you. You have to, because when, you know, there's a saying that marriage does magnify the issues that you already have. So if it is, you know, this small thing, this might be, and sometimes, like I said, you know, in caught a relationship, and oh, I could handle that, you know, and then you're in the marriage now, and things start going haywire, and like a pressure want to go up, a blood pressure want to burst, because the thing you thought you could have handled, you can't handle it. And marriage brought that to you, because remember, there's no, okay, we meet up today, and we go back home, you know, to our own homes. When we meet up, we're meeting up, right? Not going back. So you have to be able to contend with these things. So if you know you can't handle it, listen, marriage is a lifetime thing, lifetime thing. So you have to be in it for the long
haul. As Joshua was saying, over setting standards in the early years and compromising yourself and not being yourself. There's a plenty of them things would stem from, because you start on the wrong foot. You start overzealous, you start overexcited, you wind up the scene, you set all kind of thing, you set all kind of crazy standards, you're young and in love, and you make all kind of promises. Get out there, okay, Australia, okay, New Zealand, do all kind of things. But it's about humbling yourself and understanding principles. And a very important thing in there too is mentorship and accountability. Being accountable, because for me, when my parents saw, well, I have the privilege of growing up with my mom and sis. Well, obviously my mother older than me, and I have an older sister. And they were seeing certain things in me that they brought to my attention when they Kendall, we're not married to Carleen boy. So they put me sit down and started to talk about the birds and the bees. And started showing me certain things about myself. And I was privileged enough to have that have my sister and mom. We have that relationship where they could come out and say, well, you know, when you get up in the morning, you just do this particular thing, don't do that when you get a wife. Or they even put me sit down where they would have showed me things about myself and also taught me things that a woman would expect of me and things that I should be doing in preparation for marriage. And that is very, very important. Accountability, listening to your parents and listening to those who care about you and giving you advice, because sometimes we would feel that we know it all and we headstrong and we make a mess out of things, and eventually we would always go back and say, if I had only listened to my mother. You understand? So I just
one thing I want to add in the, in terms of you see that the same standards thing, while in the relationship, everything is okay, and you say, that's okay, because in the factory, you say, no, as you say, you say, that's okay, you go ahead, do your thing, take this, do that. As my grandmother used to say, your hair's hot. So everything is anything. But when they marry and she do it again in the marriage, they're really okay. So all that work to that, don't say something okay and it's not okay. Don't say it's okay to do this to me, I wouldn't feel no way, and then it affecting you down the road. Talk it out and work it out during the courting so that in the marriage, or you would have a better marriage in the end.
And wow, time was just going. But before, as Kendall was talking, I just want to quickly, I don't know if it's dive with, but as he was talking about the parents issue, for parents who may be on their life, and you have young people in your home, these are things that you have to consider, because sometimes you don't know how to deal with situations, especially in this modern day. Things constantly changing and all of these things, but I definitely appreciated the role of my parents in the whole process, because I remember before I got married, Mommy was telling me about stuff, like, hey, that's the promised land, that's the key, you know what I'm saying? Like, even, my father, like, growing up, I always remember when we had a family meeting, and I remember at this particular meeting, he was talking about, maintaining the family name and all these things, not making your parents shame, and this, because he spoke to me now, it may not be a shame issue, but the thing is, the role of parents is important, because talking to them, you get to find out stuff that's going on with your children, you be observant, all of these things, because my father spoke to us and said that, about, so whatever, like in the back of my mind, I would always hear my father's voice that I could never make my parents shame. Like, I don't know if it was a fear or a respecting, but in my head, like, I could do how much shipping. You see me, I could never make I was so scared, like, you didn't want to, I'm not say scared, but you definitely didn't, I had that respect for my parents, I didn't want to, bring that kind of, So as parents, it is important to, instill these values and stuff in your children from young, not even just because they're going to get married or anything, just because you're growing up with children, they're going to be in life in general, just life, part of life. These are things that, be a part of their life, get to know what's going on, because sometimes it's just a conversation, something might come up, and you don't know, it might be an insecurity issue that they were dealing with, and you have the privilege now, you can encourage them and, see to it that they are stronger, so that when you go there in this world living with insecurities, people will destroy you out there. And I know, I could talk from experience, if you have a struggle and the world recognize that weakness, they could tear you apart. So what I'm saying, as parents, on this issue, you have to understand your role and in a relationship, the way even you model relationships in your home, the way that you do it, you and your husband, these things impact the lives of your children. So it's important to, you know.
And one of the things in there real quick, the communication and connection between parent and child is very important. So I want to say this to parents, mentors, leaders, pastors, whoever in authority listening to us right now. It's very crucial that you maintain that connection of, I don't want to say freedom of speech, but allowing young people to be open with you. Because if they really love somebody, like if you see a girl and you know your parents would not approve of this girl, you will find some way to be with that girl and not tell them. And as a parent or a mentor or a leader or a pastor or whoever, person in authority, you don't want that. You want them to be open as possible with you so they can come and say, Daddy, you know, eyes of love and your wisdom of speech. You could guide them along the way rather than just push them away and lock them in a room and ground here for the next 10 years and I take away the phone and I beat you in public and all that. It has time and place as leaders and mentors and parents and all of us who is in authority, we have to understand that we have to be open enough so people could come to us and confide in us, confide and say, you know, this and this is the case, and you could treat it from a leadership perspective, because you don't want to be so rigid and cold and hard and grumpy and vexed and all that, and nobody don't want to open up to you. That is very critical to be in that state of mind as a parent, because your children will find ways to do things.
Also,
I know what I'm telling you.
For the people, not just the parents, but people who are in your life, that because if I know that my sister has my best interest at heart, then I would take her advice seriously. If she comes to me and say, you know what, I think this boy is not the boy for you, or Joshua, if it is Jonathan, come say, you know what, that girl is not the girl for you, I don't see, you know, or I see so and so qualities, tell me if you see it. Then if we have, you know, that kind of community and relationship going on, like even as Joshua talked about accountability earlier, then we know that if this person says it so, and not just because, you know, you thinking, and that's the thing, we have to, like, going back to the same maintaining who you are, because you don't want, oh gosh, no, she just saying that, or whatever, or you know you will take it because you consider yourself also, right? So yeah, creating that environment where we have those kinds of persons in, and where, if you are a parent of somebody, like Kendall said, create that kind of relationship where people are open enough to come to you and say, okay, you know what, this boy is interested, or you know what, this boy touched me and I think I didn't like that, or you know, whatever. But yeah, so that was just, you know, on the side for those who may be parents and so on. But before we go, we just, you know, want to leave some in the different areas, like for those who may be single, those who are going through the courting. Give us some kind of advice or tips. What has helped? What has been working? What has not? Let's hear from your perspective. We will start with you.
I had about 14 tips, but I'll just say one because it's already. So, as I said it before, don't compare your journey with anybody else's journey. The 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 12, Paul said, "We do not dare to classify or compare ourselves with some who commend themselves. When they measure themselves by themselves and compare themselves with themselves, they are not wise." It's not a wise thing to look at your life and think it's on the same level or same playing field. You all have different journeys. So just remember that, as we said before, the manufacturer knows the big picture. That's what for you. So discover that things would go a whole lot more smoother if you would just find your definitions from God, your identity, and contentment, all of that is found in Christ. So yes, that's my 1 out of 14 points.
Okay, for me, in terms of quoting, I would say 2 tips I would like to leave. 2 P's is first prepare, or in quote yourself, mentally, emotionally, physically, socially, every aspect of it is you're preparing for marriage or marriage life. And secondly, your pride. You can't have any, in terms of putting on your pride in terms of this is how it had to go, this is my way, if it didn't go my way, that's not it. And you would never learn anything from that person or that person from you if you have that pride, that self-pride in you, and you need to remove that from yourself. 2 things to keep in a courting relationship.
And for me, I would say going through the years of courting and being married now, I would say don't be afraid of responsibility. Being responsible, it's hard and it is so hard at the same time. But don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of accepting challenges. Don't be afraid to make steps and take risks and take leaps. Do it all with faith. And yeah, don't be afraid of responsibility.
And for me, from a female's point of view, who's going through the process, I would say learn how to serve. Serve and have a servant's heart, because it does, all kinds of things come up in being selfish. All these attitudes and all these things, it comes up, and examine your heart and ask God to take away that selfishness and ask Him to give you a servant's heart, because that's what it's all about. The Bible talk about esteeming others higher than yourself, and it works for marriage. If you constantly see the need of the other person, then it will help, because just serve, understand how to serve, and ask God to humble you, and the journey would be a lot smoother if we would get rid of all the me and a little more we. And that has been our discussion for tonight. We could go on and on and on, but our time, we don't want to be too long with you, and we thank you for joining us. Those of you I see you on the live, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and God bless you. We hope that in some way you've been encouraged, and God bless you. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you.